Okay, the projects for today are relatively simple but time consuming. We're up in the V-berth, and this is the hole that I pulled all of the foam out of. Well, right here at the base of the bulkhead, you'll see a crack there on the right that goes all the way down to the hull and part of the way across. And what I'm going to do today is sand that down. This is the patch where the crack was, by the way. I'm going to sand this down to the fiberglass and just reinforce it from port to starboard all the way across with a couple of layers of cloth and the strands of fiberglass. I'm using the polyester resin. It seems to be working pretty good so far, and that's what the boat was made out of. This is Jojo. He's my quality control guy. Where you at, Jojo? Oh well, he's gone. So anyway, the next one, sorry about the shaking camera. The next one is up here. I've got this area down here, right down there. I'm gonna sand that down and see what's underneath it because it's blistered. I want to see what's there. There's also a crack on the inside below the camera here. And then last, well not last, but for this particular part anyway, right here, let me see, there we go, sorry about the camera. From the port side down into the corner there, that's broken free, and I plan on doing that today as well. Get rid of this wire. This is the volcano, as everybody seems to be calling it, so I will do the same. My bilge pump is going to go back there. That's where the gentleman that owns Chip Ahoy put his, so that's good enough for me. And then we'll go through this port bulkhead with the hose, and we'll go up high. And actually, I'm thinking about putting it back high on the transom. I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to have to put some thought into that. And the remaining foam that I have, if you look right there, this area should be empty, and it's not. That whole thing, all the way back, is full of foam, and I have to remove that. That's not going to happen today. That's a future project. This is where the winch goes. This is where I'm at with the fiberglass rebuild so far. I need to sand it down again today to see where I'm at, so that I can try to level it off. So I'll work on that today as well. I do have quite a bit of filler to put in here, and I want to fill in the screw holes so that you can just start fresh. So this will get worked on today as well. So this and those two cracks are the two major ones. I do want to point something out that I did. There was a pipe that went through the deck, and that pipe went through right there. So I removed that last weekend, cut it out with a jigsaw, got in there. I'll show you the bottom side in just a moment, but I put a block of plywood underneath it with plastic on it, saran wrap, so the glue wouldn't stick to it. And then I did layers of fiberglass. I put the wooden block, which you see right there, and then I went ahead and did fiberglass on top. If I have time, I'll sand that today, and if I don't, it's no big deal. And then I'm going to pan forward here. That is the pipe that I took out of it. That's the bottom side of the pipe. I don't know if that was a water fill or a sewage drain, to be honest with you, and don't care because it's gone now and it ain't going back in. But it gave me a good idea of the build of the boat. Closest on the bottom of the camera is fiberglass, and then going up towards the deck is plywood, and then fiberglass again. So anyway, that's done. I just got to clean it up. I have more fittings and more finishing to do up forward, as you can see. And I'm going to pan back out again, step inside the boat, and we'll look at the bottom right quick. This right here, which has been on there for a week now, that's the bottom. So let's go ahead and pull it off, because I haven't seen what it looks like yet. Let's pull it off and see what happens here. So duct tape, which made a good anchor for it. And the plastic, the saran wrap, didn't even stick either. But if you look at the finish, From the angle I'm looking, you're getting a better angle than I am. It don't look too bad. So I'll get in here and clean all of this up later on. Make it flush, paint it. Because I want to paint the inside anyway. Now, one more thing I am going to point out. I saw another crack that I'll work on today as well, but it's mainly for looks. You can see where that pipe went down into here. And then it went forward into the V-berth and came out there. That's why I think it was for the pump out for the toilet. But there's also a hole here that I want to patch, and you can also see foam up in there. There's one other one. Let me go starboard here. There's another one right there that I want to do the same thing with. So plenty of fiberglassing to do today. I won't get to work on it tomorrow. Hopefully I will get to work on it next weekend though. One more thing that I did manage to finish. Up where the bow, I'm going to call it the bow ring, where you hook it onto the trailer winch. I cut a hole all the way through because it had delaminated, and I refiberglassed the inside. So it's actually thicker now than it originally was, and I hope that's okay. I'll make a new board and put that in there as well to reinforce the whole thing. Alright, that's about it. We'll get back to you later once we get started. Once I get some sanding done, I'll do some more video. Okay, we're looking up in the V-berth. The sound that you hear in the background is an electric fan that I have set up to keep it circulating in here. And you get my bucket, my pot, mixing pot. You have the fiberglass mesh, I'm going to call it, well, fiberglass strands. And then you have the fiberglass cloth. Now I'm going to look, this is back. This is the back side, not the front side of the boat, but inside the V-berth. What I've done is I've reinforced this because it was cracked on this side and it was not too good in that side. So I'm reinforcing that. This is the repair that I did where the crack was, and I'm just going to build up right in here a little bit more in order to just strengthen this entire area right here since it was cracked at one time. And then I have a little bit to do back there in those two holes. So I'll update those in a little bit. Bye. Okay, these are the coverings for the seats in the V-berth, the wooden boards. So I took them out, I sanded them on both sides with the orbital sander. And now we're going to take this Rust-Oleum Marine Coatings Spar Varnish, which is supposed to be for exterior as well as interior. Hopefully it does not crack. And I'm going to go ahead and put one coat on them tonight on one side. And then tomorrow I'll come back and do another coat on the opposite side and see how one coat is. I think we're going to have to do at least two coats on each side to preserve these. The main thing is I just want to get them to where they're watertight. So let me get cleaned up here a little bit, and I'll come back and I'll go ahead and coat one for the camera, and then do the rest of them and just set them aside. And off we go. Now this is just going to be a rough coat. I'm using a cheap brush. I'm just trying to get a lot of this urethane on here. So I'm not really trying to be pretty or neat. I just want to get a good heavy coat as an initial coat to seal this wood. I don't know if this wood has ever been sealed, or at least if it's been sealed since the boat was built. It's really dry. One of them is a replacement board that was just made out of plywood. Probably not marine grade. So let's just see how this works tonight, and we'll go from there. Alright, now what I've done is I've just set this on a wooden stool. I'm not going to store it here. I'm going to go ahead and move it to a few places here in the garage, or my workshop, as I like to call it. And we're just going to let them sit for a couple of days and dry. So I'm figuring this is going to take at least a week to get these things coated and sealed, and then we'll see about putting a good finish on afterwards. Have to do some sanding later on in order to knock this down, if it's even worth it. And if these things don't come out with a good finish, that's okay. I'll use them until I decide to just replace them all one day. But for now, they'll do until I get the boat itself up and running and completed and repaired and ready to go. And this board is soaking up quite a bit on this first coat, which I expected. So hopefully it does not crack, or the finish does not crack. These are not going to be outside, and they're not going to be under a lot of pressure. And we'll get some seat cushions for the boat a little bit later on. Get this out of the way so I can set it down. And we'll continue here. These are the same brushes that I'm using for fiberglassing, the same type of brush anyway. They're about $1 a piece at Home Depot out here in Hawaii. Hopefully they're not that much on the mainland for anybody who happens to be enjoying this video of me varnishing. Okay, last little bit right here. I'll put this one up, and then I'm going to shut the camera off and see if I can't get the rest of them done, because the rest of them are just going to be a repeat of what I just now did here. There we go. Pull that hair out of there, or that brush bristle I should say. Make it nice and neat. Now, if I do decide to sand these later on and finish them, I will use a good brush or a roller. But that's it for now. Okay, so what we have accomplished tonight is one coat on the boards. There's 1, 2, 3. Now, mind you, even though I am going to put this on YouTube, this is mainly to document the progress of the boat over time. So anyway, there's another one. There's another one. And then the tiller handle, I went ahead and put a second coat of the varnish, the urethane. And that is the same thing. The Rust-Oleum spar urethane. It does have a UV protector on it, So next is going to be a binocular storage box. This is from being stripped with navy jelly, and I got some more parts of it over here, right there. And there's another one of those seats. Sorry, it's a little dark in the garage tonight. It's after dark. And then my box full of goodies. Some of these things are off of the boat, and of course you can see some are new as well. So anyway, that's about it for now. I'll have an update hopefully by Saturday we'll have another video on YouTube.